Far Changing Tides is a story of perseverance and survival, set in a somber, though occasionally joyful world of washed-out colors and washed-away civilization. Developed by Okamoto and published by Frontier Foundry, Changing Tides returns to the world introduced in Far Lone Sails, this time with a new main character and a new, slightly more elaborate vessel to pilot. Changing Tides mirrors Lone Sails thematically and recreates it structurally. Like the death of their father inspired Lone Sails' main character to leave home, with Changing Tides, our main character sets off in search of their absent mother. Your journey alternates between longer sequences of travel and puzzle sections that halt your advance. All of it is set against a world showcasing both the beauty of the natural world as well as the ugliness rendered on it by over-industrialization and climate change. Lacking a single line of written or spoken dialogue, Changing Tides' environmental storytelling facilitates an environmental story. Melting glaciers have resulted in rising sea levels, flooding our main character's hometown. Their only hope of escape resides in a scrappy, smog-spewing, fuel-guzzling sailboat/submarine, the irony being that their ship is powered by the same forces that caused the planet's rusty climate collapse. There is a lot of meaning in Changing Tides, from the colors of the world to the objects you sacrifice for fuel, to your ship having to forcibly shove obstacles aside in order to progress. The only direction our main character can go is forward, by any means necessary, and they can't look back. As in Lone Sails, Changing Tides shows us a humanity that tried, though apparently failed, to adapt to its changing world. Massive seaborne ruins and the wrecks of other improvisational vessels are like tombstones marking the end of civilization. It's ominous, but also encouraging. The determination and resourcefulness of those who came before you enable your journey, almost like they're there, helping you along the way. Changing Tides Submarine adheres to the same principles as Lone Sails' land ship, but gives us a little more to manage. You have sails to catch the wind, a smoky steam engine when there's no wind to catch, and most, if not all, objects can be used for fuel. Once you're underwater, you'll be hopping between the throttle, engine, and ballast, navigating undersea waterways and occasionally stopping when sonar detects extra fuel on the ocean floor. Changing Tides' slightly more complex ship and optional fuel caches result in a more active, exploratory pace and a longer runtime than Lone Sails. If you came away from Lone Sails wanting more interaction with the ship, you'll get that in Changing Tides. Unfortunately, I don't think Changing Tides is as well paced as Lone Sails. There are a lot of interruptions, some of which really disrupt those moments when you just want to stand at the bow of the ship and take in Changing Tides' sights, atmosphere, and soundtrack, all of which are excellent. But then your sails lose the wind and you have to run back and reset them to get moving again. When you're above deck, you can't see if sonar is detecting anything, and while it does play a faint audio clue when detecting something, it can be hard to hear over the ambience and music. So if you want to keep an eye on sonar, you'll have to sit below deck, which means when the wind drops, you'll have to go back above deck to reset the sails, and then head down again. I definitely would have preferred it if you were able to see sonar pings from the ship's exterior, similar to the way you can already see its engine. It's a lot of tedious, busy work that doesn't need to be there. Operating the ship, setting the sails, and organizing the stuff you haul on board is a lot of fun when you're not constantly pulled to the ship's different sections. I'm not a huge fan of the ship's ergonomics either. During my first playthrough, I kept getting stuck on ladders or falling into places I didn't mean to fall. If the ship's engine overheats, you can use the hose to cool it off, but if you accidentally fall down here, you'll likely put out the engine's fire, which means you have to go through the process of starting the engine again rather than cooling it down as it's working. Far's minimalist approach to design worked well in Lone Sails, and it mostly works well with Changing Tides. But Changing Tides' new layers of complexity, while a great idea in theory, don't produce the same smooth, seamless experience delivered in Lone Sails. Changing Tides is imperfect, but despite those flaws, I legitimately enjoyed it. When at its best, which it usually is, it is wondrous, melancholic, and charming. It made me smile, made me chuckle, and made me sad, all within a short 4 to 5 hour story told intelligently and endearingly.